Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, great leaders and great scholars. Thank you very much for joining us again tonight as we discuss leadership. My name is Mazwe Majola. I'm from the Worldwide Institute of Leadership and Development. We meet every Wednesdays as leaders, as scholars, from different backgrounds. We've got academics here or scholars from different universities. We've got politicians, we've got members of the media, you've got executives from private sectors and private sector, you're from community leaders, religious leaders, managers, professionals from all walks of life. So we are a community of leaders. We discuss leadership. We meet to inspire, to encourage each other, to empower each other, because we have realized that leadership is a journey. Leadership is not a destination. If you want to become a great leader, you've got to constantly develop yourself until you go to the grave, unless you leave leadership alone. But as long as you are still a leader, you always have to constantly develop yourself. So we come to learn from each other, to unlearn, to relearn, and to co-learn together. Thank you so much for joining us. May I welcome our members and um, our regulars. You know that we learn a lot from each other every Wednesdays. You know, I mean, really, I always challenge people who attend these master classes that you must just take, you know, check at the end of the year how many you have attended and how much we have learned, because this is where peers talk to other peers. A special welcome to those colleagues who are joining us for the first time. If you've never been with us, thank you for tuning in, and please do feel at home. This is a safe space. As I've said, this is a community of leaders. So yeah, you're more than welcome to participate, and so we encourage you to participate because we like to learn from you as well. So thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully it won't be your last time. I know it won't be the last time, because these sessions, I know they're very contagious. There's no way you'll attend one and you don't want to come back again. As I'm saying, very relaxed, listening to each other, discussing leadership, frankly and with respect, with top scholars and with top great leaders that you'll find all over the world. So why wouldn't like to participate or come and mingle with such a platform? Tonight we are discussing a very interesting topic: leading with purpose, values-driven leadership for sustainable impact. And I'm not going to waste your time because we are so looking forward to hear from my sister, Lindokuhle Nzoyi. I met Lindokuhle Nzoyi in one of the IPM's conferences or conventions. We were speakers together in that convention, and I just fell in love with her, with the work she does, with the quality of leadership she is, and also with the work that she has done with the with Amatola Water Board in the Eastern Cape. She has transformed this organization. I don't want to say she found it at whatever, because obviously you don't want to talk ill with other people. But what I know is that since she has taken over that organization, she has transformed it to another level. And that's a caliber, the quality of leaders we want or we have in South Africa. We always say in this platform that we unleash great leaders, and we prove that South Africa is awash with wonderful and greatest leaders. As we always say, that the only thing we lack is leadership but we do have leaders. So no one should come one day and say, no, but we don't have leaders in South Africa. No, you must send them here in this platform and say, we'll show you the people that we have addressed us here and the people who attend this this platform that will show you the greatest leaders that we have. So, Sis Lindo, thank you so much, my sister. I know how busy you are. I feel so bad because I know how busy you are. But the fact that you availed yourself, my sister, I'm so humbled and I'm so grateful, and we're so looking forward to be addressed by you and to be empowered by you. If you don't mind, if it's okay with you, please do show your video as you address us. And also to colleagues who will be asking questions, if it's possible, please do show your video or your camera as you ask questions or as you talk. We record these sessions and we put them in our YouTube channels. Actually, if you want to really be empowered, do subscribe to our channel because you'll find the leadership material that you'll find there. You'll not be you'll be very, very actually inspired. So Lindokuhle Nzoyi is the Chief Executive Officer of the Eastern Cape Amatola Water Board. It's a very big what you call organization in the area of Eastern Cape. I know because I know that area. So she covers a lot of area, and it's such a big responsibility that she's carrying. We are so glad that you are with us. Oh yeah, come, Linda, over to you. You can address us now. Over to you, my sister. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, this is your people. Go ahead. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sis. Thank you. Go ahead. Lindokuhle? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. I hope I am audible.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prof, for the opportunity. Good evening to you, Professor. Good evening to also the distinguished guests that are in this platform, to my colleagues and to the media houses, and also to everyone that has just accepted the invitation. Professor, I would like to take this opportunity and also to thank you for this generous invitation and, you know, for the opportunity just to engage with such a diverse community. You know, we're living in a world of academics, you know, in a world of public representatives. We have amongst us the executives that are people that are also, you know, assisting us in the journey of leadership. We have also our religious leaders. We also have our managers and professionals. So I would like to begin with a simple proposition just to appreciate the greatest leadership, you know, and the risks that are associated with it. And I know that is not always, you know, absent, but I also understand that we need to also be very vigilant about how we lead. So allow me to now stop sharing the video as I will be playing my slides. So Professor, I will then be allowing myself, you know, to just take all of the guests through, you know, of my presentation. As we have all known, colleagues, that we have been engaged with this leading with the purpose and the courage and the service that is also sustainable and making impact. Professor, allow me to go through the presentation and share my experiences, you know, and also to contribute to the world about how my leadership style it has been, and also why leadership with purpose matters. In many times, Professor, you will find out that there is a purpose that is behind in anything that we are doing. And that purpose is very important because it performs the 4 essential leadership functions. And the first one is the direction. If you give direction, it's important for us to understand that leaders are constantly confronted, by the urgent demands that are are also compelling to ourselves, and we are expected, to deliver, and at many times we are limited in terms of the resources that we have. So it is important that we give direction, and in that direction, it is important that we find ourselves to take it as an urgent matter that is important for us to truly appreciate the leadership quality that we have been given and that we have been trusted. The second one, if I can just take you through, is about the trust. Colleagues, the trust that we have amongst one another is very important. The people are more likely to trust difficult decisions when there's a reason, when there is a value, and also when there's an intended public value that are clear. And the reason for me to emphasize this trust is because in many organizations, a trust has become a very, very difficult thing to do. However, what I'm trying to explain is that if you can lead and you don't have trust to your people, that's where you're not going to deliver. You need to trust your subordinates. You need to explain to them how you are leading, how you are doing your special, where you want to be genuine in how you are leading. And that will also take us to build the trust to the people that we are working with. I know that people may not agree in every decision that we are taking as leaders, but it is clear that if you are trusting them and also we are expecting them to respect the decisions that we are taking, it becomes easier to work to one another. The other one that is very important is the courage. The third one that I'm talking about that talks to the courage is that when you are involved in moments of difficulties, when the right decisions is not the easiest one or popular decision that you need to take as a leader, what is it that you need to do? You need to stand firm. You need to have a clear purpose that is giving something that is larger than our comfort. Think about the reputation that is going to cost if you not want to take the decision. Think about the personal interest for which to take a principled stand will assist you to be firm and also to remain calm and also to remain a trusted leader. And the fourth one is about legacy, which I liked so much. The legacy moves the leader's attention away from the personal visibility. What do I mean by saying that? It takes a step towards enduring the value. There are 4 questions that I want us to ask ourselves around this issue of legacy. What do I mean? We need to ask ourselves, what will remain after I leave the entity or any organization that I'm leading? What will people do, or will people be capable after my tenure? Will services be more reliable? And the last one is that, will trust have improved? Remember, colleagues, if we need to build the legacy, we need to develop the trust, we need to provide direction, we need to have courage. And the courage doesn't go alone. It also accompanied by the principles that you have to have in order for you to stand with the principles that will have and that will build the good reputational capability around your name. If you can allow me to just move with this one, if I can then talk about the leadership today that is exercised under pressure. What do I mean? The leadership today takes place in any environment that is complex. Remember, the highly visible and unforgiving weak judgments are there. There are public scrutiny that we cannot avoid. What do I mean by talking about public scrutiny? In many times, every decision is interrupted in a real times. However, what do we need to do as leaders? If we think that the decisions that we are taking are taken by the public scrutiny. There is a social media, there are employees around us, there's government, there's also stakeholders, there are people that are around us that are watching how we lead. So there will be a quick judgment in that, in what we do. People are expected there to be transparent and also to act ethical, because their actions can be quickly judged, and also they can become a public knowledge. That is why it's important for us to ensure that when things that we are doing in our organization are remaining transparent, and that is what will assist us to focus. The second one is the resource constraints. In any organization, there are challenges that we that we encounter. However, what do you do as a leader in that space? Leaders must make trade-offs without losing the mission. We need to focus as leaders. I have a challenge as well in my organization where there's not enough budget, there's limited resources, but the people out there and the leadership that is expected from me is to deliver. So I need to ensure that with limited resources that I have, with limited budget that I have, with the equipment and the time and the leaders that are out there that are watching me, I need to ensure that I must not lose the focus and the sight of the organizational core purpose. And also along those, I need to ensure that I deliver to the long-term objectives of my entity. And that's what we need to do as leaders as well. If we are saying to ourselves that, no, I can't deliver because I don't have enough people, I don't have enough capacity, I struggle to develop the infrastructure, I struggle to deliver on some of the things. And then I'm starting to shift now and lose the focus. But if I remain in the focus and the mission and the vision of the organization that I'm leading, then I'm likely to achieve and be the best leader that I can be entrusted in the society we are living under. The other one is the institutional fragility. We have weak systems in many times that can turn to the problems and also that can create the crisis. What do we do in those cases? With the institutional fragility that I'm talking about, it's very important for us to get good governance, good systems, good protocols that we need to follow in order for us to ensure that we lead and face any challenge that may become and not cost the organization. The other one is the trust deficit. You know, in the trust deficit that I'm talking about, it can be interpreted because of poor communication. It can be interpreted because of the corruption and unethical conduct and the lack of transparency that the leader that is leading that entity or that organization has. But we need to ensure that we lead with ethical good conduct. We need to ensure that we've got transparent in communication. Employees that we are leading need to be aware of what is happening in our organization. And that will build the trust of the organization to become more stronger and will create an impact that will last forever. What about the speed of disruption? There is a technology and the climate risk that informs, you know, the misinformation of compressed response time. What do we do about those things? There are poor performance that may occur. There are stakeholders that may expect or that may have expectations from us. There are new regulations that may lead us to have a speed disruption amongst ourselves. Some may take a time to adapt to change. But what is important is that we need to ensure that we move with times as we are leading. We also understand the technology that we are using in the society. We also understand the risks that are associated. We cannot be leaders that do not understand the risks of any organization that we are leading. It's very important for us to ensure that we compress to those responses that are giving us enough time to ensure that there's a leadership challenge that is being addressed in any institution. By doing so, we will be ensuring that the leadership challenge is not to remove uncertainty, but we will understand that it is to provide direction and steadiness and also the credible action within it. When it comes to the leadership that we're talking about, we also have leadership that is stewardship before it is a status. Many people confuse this. They think that when they are being given ranks, as the CEOs or as the COOs or as the DGs or any other positions that are very high to lead the institutions, it's not about the rank, but it's about the services that we are going to intake and also the services that we are going to deliver to others, and also caring. It's about the responsibilities that we have been entrusted, to deliver. So it's very important when we are to understand that leadership is about stewardship before it is a status. There is a purpose around it. There is a judgment around it. There is a conduct that we need to exercise in order for us to ensure that people that are looking up to us up there are seeing an example in each and every leader that is out there. And also there must be capability so that we can be able to ensure that we are doing what we're supposed to do at the right time. And if we do have all those, then we are going to create an impact that will create a question that will say, what remains after me? That's where now, when we say the leadership is stewardship before it is a status, it starts. Because a title may open the door, but the purpose determines what happens after the door opens. So it's very important to position ourselves temporarily into the title. But stewardship is about the enduring obligation that we have to lead. And then move on to the purpose that gives the leadership direction. In that one, in that purpose, we need to ask ourselves the questions. The purpose must become a practical decision filter in everything that we are doing. When I mean that, when I am confronted by a difficult choice, I find the 4 questions that are very useful for us as leaders to ask ourselves. The first one is to who? Who benefits out of my leadership? And who carries the cost? The other one is why. Why public and organizational values are we protected? What is it that we are protecting? The how part is that, is the method ethical, lawful, and credible? And the last one is always remains, the legacy. Will the decision strengthen the institution beyond today? What this slide means is that we need to keep the ambition connected to service and power connected to responsibility. We need to ensure that whatever that we give when we are leading, it provides a direction and it has a discipline. I want to quote the John Maxwell. Maxwell, in one of the books, is saying, a leader is one who knows the way, who goes the way, and shows the way. We must be leaders that are knowing and understanding the way to go. We must be leaders that walks what we are doing. And also we must show them. We must be intentional in what we are doing. And by doing so, we are going to speak to the personal examples that are going to be aligned with integrity, that are going to show the way that we are taking responsibility. So this quote really means that leadership does not lose the credibility when we are having a clear message out there, but it's about the conduct and the leader that we are moving to the right direction. When it comes to the values, the value must be visible in every conduct. What do I mean? There is an integrity, there is an accountability, there is humility, there is empathy, there is also consistency. And there are important things that we need to value around this. The values become meaningful only when people experience them in the conduct of leaders. You cannot have the values if you are not going to conduct yourself as a good leader. The integrity, do the right thing when the cost is real. Humility, remain teachable and correct the course. Accountability, you must own up the decision and the outcomes of what has become. Whatever decision that you have taken, you must own it up and you must ensure that it will have the outcomes. The empathy, we must understand the human consequence. We are living in a world full of challenges. We are having colleagues. You must understand their problems. We must not expect them to be at work every day. That's not how you lead. But we must lead with empathy. We must understand the challenges around it. And we must be able to trust those that are being led by the one that is not going to be available. And there must be a consistency in what you are doing. Apply the standard without favor. What you do to the other subordinate must also apply to the other one. And by doing so, it will make things easier and also it will make a person to be a good leader. This therefore means that the culture that we are building has to be shaped less by what leaders proclaim and more by what they are repeatedly doing. We must do things that we would expect them to be done with us. There are 5 cultural tests for leaders that we need to understand. What do we tolerate? What do we reward? How do we treat dissent? How do we explain decisions? What do we do when nobody applauds? You must not be the leader that wants to be applauded all the time. You must give others the chance. You must expect the critics from your colleagues, from the people out there, and you must learn from those critics. That's what is key and what is important. When I move to the service key that gives the authority legitimacy. This one is my favorite slide. When I was preparing for this, something came to my mind, and it was about leadership that you need to earn the trust when strategy translated into the better life experience. There's an authority that we are mandated to do. And in that authority, there is a mandate that we are trusted that we will deliver. There is a role. There is also a responsibility that we need to ensure that we are taking accountability up to that. And that role must remain responsiveness, fairness, and also with respect. By doing so, everything that we will be doing will be legitimate because we don't just take authority, but we take authority together with the roles that we are doing, and also we take accountability about the responsibilities that we have been given to us. The trust one. The credibility build through conduct. The good conduct can create people to trust around you. If you don't have a good conduct, people will never trust you, but will always have that feeling that will have a negative impact within our society. For example, in the water sector, the leadership is never an abstract. It is a decision that is taken in the boardroom and also in the laboratories and also in the plants and also in the projects that we are implementing. Eventually is felt at homes in sometimes. Also, it is felt in schools, it's felt in clinics, it's felt in businesses, and also in our communities, because it's something that is affecting everyone outside there. So the moment there is something that is affecting water, I have to ensure that there is a trust that I build to that community. There is a trust that I build in that lab. There is a trust that I build in those homes that are looking for any help. There is a trust that I build to that school that is having a challenge. So it's important for us now to work with the delivery. The delivery now talks about the reliable execution and the responsiveness. If we are delivering, then that means that we are reliable and there is a response in what we are doing. Then, therefore, what will gain after that? The public value. There will be a dignity, the opportunity, and the institutional confidence. When we are doing all those 3 together, we are then building a dignity for our organizations that we are leading. We are also creating opportunities to be the employer of choice. We are also creating opportunities to our institutional confidence. We are also building a trust to someone that is sitting up there interested to read or also interested to know more about our entities or our organizations that we are leading. Colleagues, allow me to also talk about the lead institutions and not personalities. In many times, many leaders around us have got a problem of not leading institutions, but leading personalities. That has been a common leadership trap that has been going on around. This may create the appearance of control and also importance, but over time, it weakens the institutional capability. When we talk of these ones, especially when we talk of the leadership about the institution, we talk of governance, the systems, the capability, the performance, and the succession. When we have clear authority and an oversight and an ethical boundaries, that's where we are going to be seen that we are good leaders. There is no organization that cannot have good governance. When I talk about good governance, I relate to the policies that we need to have in our organizations. I relate to the protocols that we need to also ensure that there are ethical boundaries that are there, the code of conduct, clear understanding of the rules, the do's and don'ts of the entity, of all the institutions that we are leading. That is very key and important. The second one, what we're talking about is the systems. What processes that we have in the system that we have, that we are using? Do we have controls? What about the information and the decision rights? It's important for us to have decisions that we are taking, the rights that we are doing are also fundamental elements that can play a key role in ensuring that the processes are understood, but not everyone can take a decision in any organization. It is very important for us to ensure that that person, we manage it, and also there are controls in doing that, because that's where now the institution is going to have a stability. What about the capability? The people with the competence and confidence to deliver. When we talk about the capability, we must ensure that in whatever that we do, we develop our people, we make them to be registered in professional bodies, we make them feel that they are at home. They must be applauded about what they are achieving. They must be rewarded about what they have done good, and there must be also be a performance systems that are a priority and also standards. And that will also be the evidence that there is an accountability that we are doing in what we are practicing in the organization. It is important for us to also ensure that there's a succession planning that we are having. The leadership must continue beyond one individual. That is why it is important for us to have different ages with different experience in our organizations. The highest form of leadership is not being needed forever. It is building others and systems that can carry the work forward. It is important, therefore, to have the legacy that we are creating to those that are about to retire, to ensure that the other ones that are remaining, they are developing and they are taking the baton of a good practice so that the organizations can remain stable. When we talk of development, we talk of developing, and I have a passion of developing the women and the young professionals as leadership. One of my articles that have just went out, I think it was Monday on Daily Dispatch, one of the things that I have highlighted there is that I have a passion in developing women. I want to see women taking up the space. We have seen so many problems around our country. Women are being afraid of themselves, and women not to take a stand and when there are challenges. I want to see and build a vision that will be there forever. There is a representation that matters. But capability, sponsorship, and succession creates lasting change. What do I mean? We've got very, very strong youth in our country. That youth needs support of the leaders that have already have the experience. We've got graduates. What do we do as leaders in those graduates? Are we utilizing the EW sitters? Are we opening our doors to give them the opportunity to be exposed and to provide access to any strategic work that the organization need? Are we entrusting and giving the responsibility with the guidance and accountability? We must ensure that whatever that we are doing, we need to prepare for our future. And the preparations starts from opening the doors for others. As you rise, you must ensure that you lift others up as well. That has been my passion, and I will work with it as long as I am a leader. And that makes me now to realize that in our society, the women, especially professional women, should take a leadership step and also to be comfortable that they can lead with passion. But the how part is, are they seeing any example of the leader that can take the space? Are they seeing any difference in the leaders that we have in the society? I am the one, and I am trusting that some of the graduates that we have can also give real responsibility if they can be given a chance, and they can take a guidance and also the responsibility and accountability around that. That is why now I have a passion in developing women and young professionals, because I believe that in giving them a space to lead, that will open the doors for other generations that is still to come, to create that legacy, and the impact that they will make in our society will stay there forever. Now, the other steps that I need to also talk about is the trust. The trust is built in the way leaders communicate. How are you known in your leadership, as your leadership? How are people knowing you in your organization as a leader? Trust is built not only through the decisions the leaders make, but it is built through the way those decisions are communicated. There may be a problem there. The silence is interpreted, and the silence can create delays on its own. We can have so many narratives around that. But if we are on time, we are factual, and also we are having a human, we will go far. If you are expected to deliver on time, as a leader, you need to also communicate early enough so that you can reduce the issues of trust and also the issues of conflict. And you must to ensure that when you are a leader, you have facts. You must separate the verified information from assumptions. All the time, leaders need to ensure that the transparency that they provide is based with facts. You must have facts and factual with that. What about the human? You must acknowledge the impact and to be concerned about and the lived experience. You need to ensure that those that are making a change, that are assisting you as you are leading, are also acknowledged and they are valued. So, in other words, we need to create our own narrative in what we are leading by ensuring that we need to do all things that we are doing on time, and we need to have facts and not just trust anything that is coming around us. The questions now that are coming is that, what has happened? What does it mean? What are we doing now? When will we communicate again? Those are the 4 important questions that are very credible as a leader that you should ensure that we're focusing on. Now, as we are about to finish our presentation, we go to the sustainable impact in the evidence of leadership. In this light, it's very important for us to understand that when we have a way of leading, we need to understand the institution, the strong governance, the clear systems, the restored confidence that we have in the institution. And that is number 1. Number 2 is the services. Are we reliable in the services that we are delivering out there? Are we responsive? The third one is the people. They must have greater capability, dignity, and participation. You must not just be one-man jive, but people that you are leading must also participate in your leadership. You must allow them and give them space to give you advices, to share with you the best practices that can be utilized. to be innovative, to ensure that we are creating a space that anyone else can utilize in order for the organization to grow. And that will take us to the communities. We must be visible with our communities. Yes, we are working in a very busy times, but if we are not making a visit or we are not visible to our communities, that can be a problem, because you will be a leader that is being known as a person that is sitting in the boardroom and in the office. If there is a problem, for example, in my institution, as I am working with water, or if there is no problem at all, I need to create a space of people and the community to understand that they understand the mandate and the deliverables of Amatola Water. By being visible and also showing the progress and also renewed the trust that is there. By doing so, I will then be creating a future that will last forever. There is a readiness around that. There is a resilience that I also want people to do. And also there is a leadership continuity that will be there. In so doing, that is the evidence that the visibility on its own, it is creating an everlasting trust that will stay there forever to the people that we use. For example, in this light, it reminded me of Steve Jobs, the former CEO and the chairperson of the Apple, who passed away long time ago in 2011. Even today, we are still using the Apple phones that person created. His name will never go anywhere because he has created an impact and an everlasting trust that will be there forever. Instead, the apples are growing every day. There's a development around that because of one man who created that, and that name is Steve Jobs. We still have that, and it will be there forever because of how he has built the trust in the community. A leader needs to do an audit. When we talk about the audit, in each and everything that we are doing, leadership influences, their influence exists at every level. We therefore do not need to wait for a more senior title before we're practicing, the purposeful leadership. I just want us to invite ourselves into these questions as leaders. What responsibility are we avoiding because it is uncomfortable? Are you that leader that is keeping the document for more than 3 months in his or her table because you are not comfortable with it? And that you are delaying the processes. You are delaying the service delivery. If you are, you need to ask yourself that. The second question that we need to ask ourselves when we are auditing us as leaders now, who is becoming stronger and more capable because of our leadership? What is it that we are building behind us now? Are we acting in a courage and humility? The third question is, what system are we strengthening beyond our leadership term? Are the systems that we are developing and creating in our platforms are the ones that are going to help us and assist us in making an impact and also assisting one another in order to ensure that there is a life after your leadership? And the fourth one is, what public value will remain when our titles are gone? This therefore means that leadership is not primarily about occupying authority. It is about accepting responsibility for people, institutions, and the future, and leaving them stronger than we found them. In other words, if you are a leader, you need to ensure that what you are creating and developing now, in the next generation or the next coming years to come, it must be the one that is growing. It must be the one that is being served through the delivery that you have created. It must be the one that is being built through the systems, through the people that you have developed in the institution. There is a quote that is very important, that I want us to ensure that we listen to it, is from Mandela. We are in the Mandela month. And as we are in the Mandela month, Mandela mentioned that real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. And that was Nelson Mandela. And even today, that quote still remains in our hearts. The purposeful leadership is ultimately serving, using influence not for self-preservation, but for the advancement, dignity, and freedom for others. So when you are a leader, something that should come to your mind is that whatever that I do, the world out there is watching for me. Whatever that I do, there is something that I'm creating, and there is something that people are learning from me. That is why it's important for us to be ethical at all times. That is why it's important for us to be very careful and also to be transparent and also to trust the people that are working with us. Because the legacy that we are going to leave behind is that the question that Mandela asked: who became freer, stronger, and more capable because I lead? Those are the questions that are very important. Allow me, Prof, and the colleagues in the platform to close and say, during my leadership journey, I found this video that I love very much, and I believe it touches the core of the message that I wanted to put across as I was presenting today. And allow me to play this video.
Three things that I've learned as a leader. Number one, you must have a big heart. You must have a big heart for people. Number two, you must love people. As you lead people, you cannot love them when they do what you want them to do. You must love people unconditionally as a leader. And lastly, as a leader, you cannot hold grudges. Because people that you lead, they will hurt you, they will sabotage you, they will gossip about you. And the very same people will come to you and say, can you help me? You cannot say, you remember what you did to me. You love them. You do as you need to do. Jesus, the very same people who said, Hosanna, Hosanna, here comes the Lamb and the Son of God, are the same people who said, crucify him. But when he's crucified, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. You must be able to say, Jehovah, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Professor, let me take this opportunity and thank everyone for listening to me. I will now allow the questions and the experiences that they've learned to come over. Thank you very much, Professor. Over to you, back to you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you. If you can just close your the presentation on from your side. Thank you so much. Wow, what a super master class. What a super master class. Thanks a lot. You've really empowered us. You've really empowered us today. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's a time to engage the speaker. You can do that by showing your hand or via the chat room. And then we can engage the speaker. I like your some of the quotes that we have there. What do we do when nobody uploads as leaders? So what do we do, or what do you do when nobody uploads and not uploading for you? Or you're kind of a leader who's always there when people to notice you, to recognize you, but when things are hard, when you're working with toxic people, what do you do during that time? Thanks very much, Lindokuhle. Thanks a lot. If we can just be a little bit practical there, Sis Lindokuhle, in your space of water board, purposeful leadership, or how do you find it there? We are experiencing a lot of of challenges as far as water is concerned in South Africa, especially here in Gauteng. I don't know in Eastern Cape, or maybe people don't have that problem. But if you can just share a little bit, then how do you find it? What probably some of the things that you've done from your side in terms of handling that, and then we'll take some questions. I see hands that are coming. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Prof, for the question.
Are you able to show your video there, Lindo?
Thank you. Can you see me?
Perfect. Yes, perfect. Go ahead, Siso. Wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your question. You know, I really appreciate what you are asking, and I know that it's very important for us to understand that when you are a leader, you need to be present because we are working in a very complex environment that has got a leadership environment, because the challenges are both technical and also social. So when I assume that being a leader, sometimes you will find those challenges that are also, you know, inclusive of aging infrastructure, you know, financial constraints, you know, the increasing of customer expectations, you know, the water losses, you know, the climate variety, and also the challenges of governance, the pressure and on its own. But what is important is that my approach that I will use is to ensure that I first understand the root cause, you know, rather than, you know, like treat it as the symptoms. What is important is that I prioritize and engage the employees, you know, the municipalities, you know, the government departments, you know, the communities, because once you become visible as a leader, it becomes easier for them, if there is a problem, to also touch base in your platforms that you are using as the organization, just to ensure that this is communicated somewhere, and that creates now and build the trust that I know that this organization is very open, and also it builds, you know, and creating environment that is conducive. So in my platforms, I utilize the platforms that are in a social media, being LinkedIn, being Facebook, being in Telegram, in Instagram, you know, all those platforms that will make people to trust us that we still exist and they understand our challenges. That's how I approach them. Thank you very much.
Do people have water in your region or in your place, Lindo? Where the open pipes, are the water there, and then in the villages, and what is happening around your side?
Yes, I must say that people have water, and in whatever partnership that we have with the municipalities that we have a contract with, we have the technical team that is very fast in addressing the challenges that we encounter. Remember, as the entity, we understand that leadership is about people and people that we serve. However, we are there to provide, you know, the bulk water to the municipalities, which then becomes the municipalities that then they should provide water to the communities. So whatever challenge that is there, we worked in partnership hand in hand, because we sell the bulk water to the municipalities and they take accountability as well by ensuring that the communities have water. So in a nutshell, I'm trying to say that I don't take accountability only when I'm selling water, but I'm also putting myself at blame, or also be part of the solutions to provide any assistance when there is a challenge. So I do appreciate that when there is water, we do provide, when there is no water, we do provide help, and also we do assist municipalities in order to solve the problem of water. Thank you, Chair.
Francis, thank you. It's very important that what you've just said, that you sell water, you provide water to municipalities, and municipalities are the one who distribute water to people and to households. So when people don't get water, it's the responsibilities of municipalities, and it's very important that we understand that, so that we know who does what, and then where it comes and where it goes, and what happens after that. Thanks, sis. Mandla Nhlanganiso, my brother there, Mandla, and then will be followed by Tandiwe, or rather Dr. Tandiwe Gama, in that order, please. Over to you, my brother, Mandla. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, Prof, and good evening, and to our esteemed guest speaker today. Congratulations once again, ma'am, for the appointment. We are looking forward to your leadership in the Eastern Cape. But Prof, coming to the topic at hand, I will just highlight 3 keywords here: purpose, values, and impact. To Ms. Nzoyi here is that I once facilitated a municipality workshop, Prof, from the mayor up to the last person in the council. And on my opening remarks, I've asked, what are the values of this municipality? And strangely, the banner was there with the vision, mission, and the values. I tell you, there was a resounding silence. And this is a phenomenon that we get in most of our organizations, where the values are just beautifying these strategic documents, but we don't live these values that are enshrined on our founding documents as organizations. I'm not even talking about our own personal values as leaders. So my question to Ms. Nzoyi is that, how do we practicalize this issue of values? Because people set in a strategic plan, designed this 5-year plan, 10-year plan, came up with those values. Maybe I'll make an example. One of them can be professionalism. And these values must be known by the CEO up to the cleaner. But when you enter a room of that organization, you could sense that even from the security gate, there is no professionalism at all. But when you go to the main boardroom there is the value that says professionalism. So how do we practicalize these issues of values? Because in this country, we've got a lot of potential in these organizations. However, our leaders, they don't even look on the issue of the organizational values. They lead with no impact at all. When you judge in terms of where the services must go, you find out that it's a road infrastructure organization. I'm making an example. But the entire city is full of potholes. You know, what impact are you doing to that? So how can we, as leaders currently in the country, make this practical on a day-to-day basis? Because this is the challenge that we are sitting with in the country, that, you know, most of our leaders are just, doing it over a piece of paper, only to account when they go to probably parliament. But practically, you know, the people that are supposed to be getting the service are not getting the service. Let me pause there for now, Prof. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks very much, my brother. We must get you one day and tell us about what is happening in the boxing South Africa. Thank you so much. That's my brother, Mandlo. Thank you. Dr. Tandiwe Gama, and then Lindo, you'll respond to both of them after that. Over to you, Doc.
Thank you, and good evening. Wow, Lindokuhle, what an inspiring message. You know, Prof Majola, you often say this is a masterclass. Indeed, this was a masterclass. You know, she touched on every aspect of what leadership is about, and I think for me today, the one thing that I'm taking out is that, you know, leadership is quite comprehensive, but there's key elements of leadership that every effective or good leader cannot not have. And I think she's touched on that. The one thing that I would like you to just elaborate on, Lindokuhle, is indeed the reality that in today's times, leadership is under pressure. Leadership basically from all sorts of sort of directions and facets, leaders are under pressure. And maybe bring it back even closer to home, as you are a CEO in a water industry. Amanzi right now is a critical issue. Our experiences last week, I did not have water in this house. So for me right now, looking at what you've shared with us about leadership and the reality that leaders are under pressure right now, what would be the one thing that if you were to wake up Lindokuhle tomorrow and our leaders did right, particularly when it comes to our water, things would be different? What is the one thing that if honestly you were to wake up tomorrow and you find that they did right, things would be different?
Thank you. Thanks, Doc. Over to you, Sis Lindokuhle.
Thank you very much, Prof. Let me also allow and take this opportunity to thank the speakers that have asked the questions, and just to also acknowledge that what they have raised is really important. To start with, Mr. Nhlanganiso, I just forgot the name, the first name. And the rate of the matter is that what you are saying is true. The beauty of the organizations in any organization is that we have Matopili principles, we've got values, we've got all the things that are supposed to be performed by the employees of the institution. But sometimes you find out that even when you are just entering there in the reception, you don't find those being practiced and being practical. Let me tell you about Amatola Water. In my period of leadership, I have been in a space of corporate services where I work with people and where I make and leave a mark. I believe that if you are a leader, you need to show humility. You need to ensure that you practice all the values of the organization. And if I can just share the values of, of Amatola Water. Yes, we understand that the practicality of us, serving the municipalities, leading with the purpose, ensuring that we are an entity that provides water, bulk water services to everyone, that is strengthening governance. It's really important to also take what you are having and practicalize it inside. I found it important that if you've got this governance and the compliance issues in the institution, that's where the problem starts. If you don't have the structured ways of doing things within the organization, then those things that you expected people to do will not be there because you don't have good governance that you are practicing in the organization. You need to build trust within our organizations. What do I mean by saying that? You need to lead by example. You need to accept the responsibilities that you have to preach. You have to, each and every meeting that you are in, remind your employees about the ethical conduct that is expected of them. You need to tell employees that the integrity and values are aligned with the performance management of the institution. So those ones, how we are practicalizing it in our organization. We are an entity. We have been an entity that has been known for the wrongdoings for such a long time, but people have lost trust. People have lost, they still, some of them, they still believe that there's nothing that will change. But how do I turn it around and make it a difference? So now, the recognition of the employees is very key. How we are treating employees and celebrating them. Their behaviors can make the organization be known and to practice the values of the organization. And that's where we're at now at Amatola Water. Whatever celebration that we are doing is because we acknowledge the leadership that they are doing, and also we are making the staff to feel that they are being appreciated by the leaders. So addressing their behaviors is one of the best things that we have done so that they don't contradict with our values. So the professionalism that we are preaching to our employees is one of the best things that has made the organization to turn around and to change, because we have started as leaders to change, and then the employees has followed what we have done right. So to answer what Untlanganiso has the question of Untlanganiso is that in the context of Amatola Water, we have been the responsive leaders in the entity by ensuring that we value our employees so that we can give and we can get back the respect that we deserve outside there. The entity is now performing at a bigger platforms, and the entity is being recognized nationwide. And that is because of how we have been conducting ourselves for the past 2 years. So the values of a leader starts from people that are leading the organization, and they become appreciated by the employees because they see an example of those that are leading. Coming now to the question of the second one, or Dr.
Dr.
You
Kama.
you are raising something that is very important. In many instances, what we as water sector has experienced as a challenge is that this is not only happening in South Africa, globally. In New York, our minister was there and was sharing to us that there was no water in some of the places there because of the infrastructure challenges, because of some of the things that are not there. So even nationwide is something that is a problem and it's a challenge. But the question is, how do we react, or how do we address that challenge? The reality of the matter is that we don't have enough budget to address the infrastructure challenges. We've got an aging infrastructure that needs to be developed. You know, if I can make an example of Mdantsane, we've got pipes there that are more than 50-something years of age. They were done in 1969, 1973, when those houses were built. And at that time, the population rate was very, very limited. But now the population has grown. But what needs to be done by government now is to expand and upgrade our infrastructure. And that is billions and billions of rands. And that is the other challenge that we have. The other one that I want to mention is the issue of vandalism. That is also contributing to the issue of not having water for our society. How do I want the society to assist in this challenge? We need to teach our children. We need to contribute and tell those in our communities that you are contributing to the challenge that government is having by doing the vandalism. Because now you are vandalizing the infrastructure that is already needing help. And that is contributing to the person that is sick in hospitals, is contributing to the school is missing out, and the child is missing out the education that it's supposed to have because of the challenges that we are encountering in our society. So those are some of the things that can make us now to work together as South Africans and also, I mean, in a country to resolve the issue of challenges, because it is not only about us, but I know that there are also, you know, the fundamental elements and the strives that the president is putting towards addressing the issue and the challenge of water. Also, in celebration of Nelson Mandela Day on the 18th of July, the president, the focus was on the water challenge that we have in South Africa and how we are going to address the challenges. And those are the steps that we need to also be patient about as a community. I know they may be pressing at times, but we need to also just be patient and to understand that things will be happening slowly but surely things will do happen. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. We'll take Dr. Chuma Mangisa, and then we'll be followed by Sister Nomkita Mona, and then two of them, and then Sister Lindo will respond to them, and then we'll take the last round and we'll go to the chat room as well. Dr. Mangisa, over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, Prof Majola, and thank you to Usisi Nzoyi from Amatola Water, and good evening to the audience. I have done, I have a consultancy, Dr. Kem Leadership and HR Consulting. I have done some work with some of the water boards within the province of Gauteng. You know, one of the major problems or challenges that the water boards are encountering financially, municipalities are not paying for the services. And as a result, operationally, it becomes a challenge for the water boards to run its operations. Now, one of the recommendations that I've made, other than withholding the equity share from a national treasury's perspective, it was to say, perhaps follow that which Eskom is doing, that Eskom, they are assisting municipalities when it comes to debt collection, such that, you know, money would come to Eskom and, you know, then, you know, they will take its share and then, you know, they will then pay back, you know, the municipalities that are owing them. Now, my question to you is, you know, are you not experiencing the same challenge? That's the first part of the question. Then the second part and the third part, you know, of the question would be, recently, you know, National Treasury, I forgot but the announcement was, you know, he is gonna withhold the equity share until there are commitments, you know, that are making before they can be granted that. There was a brouhaha, you know, that communities would suffer, and so forth and so forth. Until I think yesterday or today, you know, he backtracked from that and he promised to pay, you know, this equity share. Now, the question then to you, the second part of the question is, what is your comment on that? You know, the withholding of the equity share, and thereafter, you know, the release thereafter, you know, that was announced by Utadu Kodonga, because I had thought that withholding, it will make them realize, you know, that there are commitments that they have to do, not just to get this money, the equity share, and then utilize it for other reasons other than paying the creditors. That's the question, sister. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mangisa. Sis Nomkita, over to you, sis.
Thank you, Prof. And thanks to Madam Nzoyi for her presentation this evening. I'd also like to echo the first speaker in congratulating you on your appointment and also wishing you all the very best. I wanted to touch on two things. One is what you said about leading with passion. And I believe that leading with passion is hugely undermined, but it's also hugely misunderstood. I think it was Cornel West who said something about how he views leadership. He talks about it as an act of love and service. And his quote that is quite popular is the one that says, if you don't love your people, you cannot lead them. And he also then goes further to say that if you do not serve them, you also cannot save them. But the question that I have, I kind of wanted to withdraw my hand, but because I thought you touched on some of the things I wanted to talk to. But the question I have really is more strategic around the country when it comes to water. We all know that South Africa is a water scarce country. Many people don't believe it because we grew up opening a tap and water would come out. And I also feel that South Africa has a very uneducated populace about, one, the environment in general and sustainability, but especially around water. And that may be part of what you guys should focus on, is the education as to, so that the kids can know from a young age that water is actually a finite resource. Because we don't see where it comes from, we think that it will always be there. But we've seen in South Africa in the last few years. But my question really is around, as a country, strategically, what is the conversation, or what should the country do to resolve the issue? Because it's one thing to focus on the Eastern Cape, the Northwest, or whichever board comes from the various provinces. But the problem is actually not provincial, and neither is it regional. The problem is national. And I'm thinking about, what is it that South Africa should do as a country in addressing the water challenges, so that we can assist you in your area to make sure that you succeed in what you set out to do. Because the last point I want to make is around how I think we work in silos. So the Eastern Cape focuses on its own issues with water, somebody else does. But if you look north, east, south, and west, sometimes in another area there's a flood, while at the same time in another area within the same country there's drought. Isn't there anything we can do to make sure that the water that is flooding doesn't get wasted and flow into the sea, while the other people on the other side don't have water? I'm unsure if I'm clear in my question, but I'd like to end it there. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Thanks, Sis Nomkhita. If you don't mind, Sis Lindo, there is another colleague that unfortunately is using a phone. I want to take him or her, but please, if you can just introduce yourself and give us your name so that we don't call you AU or yeah. So I'll take that one and then we'll come back to Lindo. Over to you. The one who raised the hand with a phone, do you still want to ask
Thank
a
you very
question?
much, Prof. Thank
Go
you,
ahead,
Mam
yes.
Lindo. Yeah, yes. Good evening. Thank you, Mam Lindo and the team. The simple question I want to raise is, I'm very
Do you
happy
mind
and
to, sorry, my sister, do you mind to share us with your name so that we know of the question? Go ahead.
my name is Sophie Mulugwana. I'm one of the graduates of Mam Lindo from our CISA, the Association of Water and Sanitation Institute of South Africa. There's about one or two questions I want to raise. Mam Lindo, I heard that you've got a very good partnership, working relationship with municipalities. However, what I want to ask now is that earlier this particular financial year, there was the SANS report or awards presentation at Mpumalanga by the Honourable Minister of Water and Sanitation. What are strategies and mechanisms that you are putting in place together with your partner minister to ensure that at least there's a green and blue drop or no drops standard compliance by the municipality? The second issue, what strategies are put in place by Amatola and the municipality to address elements that relate to non-revenue? Thank you very much.
Over to you, Sis Lindokuhle.
Thank you very much once again, Prof, to all the questions that have come to the platform. Let me appreciate also all the speakers for their questions, and they are all valuable. To start with Dr. Chuma Mangisa, that has been asking about the non-payment of municipalities, and also what comment that I can have in responding to the decision that has been taken by the government to uphold to release their funds. To start with, I would like to share that in my water board, I do not have any challenges that I have encountered with regards to the issue of payment. I only have two municipalities that I have a contract with, and in terms of how they are paying, they have been doing very great. We don't have any challenges. They are paying on time. We've got our agreements, and as such, we are also sharing good practices on how we should maintain our relations in order for us to ensure that we serve the community with the values, with good values. So the decision that has been taken has not really affected my water board because of those agreements and also the relations that I have with the municipalities that I have a contract with. Just to come to the comment, I think the decision that they have taken to hold their equitable share was a very good decision, because it was there to ensure that the municipalities takes accountability in the issues of consequence management. They take accountability in the issues of how they are running their municipalities and how they are spending, their budget that they are being provided by government. I believe that in other municipalities, they also, have taken their budget back because of they were unable to spend due to their challenges that they have encountered within their municipalities. So for the government to put them on hold and also to ensure that they submit, the documents that will be a source that will say these are the steps that we will be taking in this municipality in order to ensure that we spend. It gives them accountability to ensure that they deliver. So we are looking forward to also partner with other municipalities around the Eastern Cape and also outside the Eastern Cape, that to ensure that as the implementing agent, we are also ready to serve, and we are also here to assist those water boards. To coming to another question from Tuma Mona, I would like to also appreciate that you have brought the issue that is a very problematic, because the reality of the matter is that South Africa is one of the world water scarce countries that we have, and addressing those challenges, require a long-term period that is integrated. That will have to use an integrated approach in order for us to ensure that the water security is addressed and in an environmental way that will not affect the communities. And I understand that there are fundamental issues that are related to the public health of employees. Also, there are economic factors that are also affecting that, because there are issues of growth, that we need to also ensure that there is a growth in terms of the economy, and also there is a food security that we have, and there's also a social stability. So those are the important issues that we as a society, we needed to ensure that we also build as the water boards. Secondly, I think one of the things that we can also use is to ensure that we need to have a diversity, to have a diversity, or to diversify, our water sources, which are sometimes, affecting the development of the groundwater, through the boreholes, that we need to also ensure that the sustainability is there. in one of the decisions that the president has taken is that the boreholes need to be there around, the country in order for us to ensure that we deliver. And also there's an expansion of water reuse, and also there's a recycling around us in order to ensure that there's a protection of our lives and also the dams that are protected. So I think those are the other strategies that we can use. The other one that I think of is the issue of partnership. The partnerships are very essential. With national government and municipalities and water boards, the private sectors, the issue of research is one of the key things that are very important for us to also utilize and also to ensure that we cannot run away from doing that in order for us to grow as a country. So by institutionalizing that, and also to ensure that there's a water security that is being achieved, we need to have those partnerships. And the fourth one is about partnership with communities at hand, teach them about the importance of water, to be actively involved, with the water conservation. Well, that's one of the things that is very, very important, because the public awareness is also playing a role that will also be the fixing one of the challenges that we hold of the water leaks that we have also, you mentioned. In your question, you also came up with the issue of like addressing the water that is also flooding, that is also affecting that water that is flooding. How can it be saved, in order to address the challenge that we have of water? The things that I can also highlight is the issue of the storage of flood water, the building and expanding on the dams is also one of the things that can assist, the reservoirs to also, to have a retention on those. And also, when there are bigger rains that we have, they are going to address those issues. And some of them are also, restoring of the rainwater and also harvesting. That is some of the things that are coming to my mind that I will encourage that to do as households, as schools, as businesses, just to install the rainfall, that is also the rainwater, tanks, to collect and also ensure that we've got JoJo tanks. I know we cannot afford all of that, but I think it will also be useful for us to also improve in some of the urban. We will see that many a times those houses have those things and they are working in those things. And what about the one would say, what about the others that cannot afford and also they? But the teachable spirit that we also encouraging in our employees and also preaching outside there in our communities when we are talking about issues of water is also to ensure that they understand the importance and that water that is also a right for you to get doesn't come easily. It has got an investment on it. So building sustainable draining systems will also assist us, to assist us to reduce those flooding from going as a waste, but to also, face the challenges of the water shortages that we are going to address as a country. Coming to Mam Sophie, that was talking about the blue drop and the green drop, and also the non-revenue water. I understand that that is a challenge in many municipalities. And in my municipality, I am one of the entities that is also, in a way of implementing and ensuring that there's a blue and the green drop that is being implemented. Those issues are accompanied by budget. And in order for us to achieve those, we need to ensure that all our dams are being assessed, and that's costing millions, and all our dams are having, are being maintained, and that is why you will see in the Eastern Cape, Nahun Dam, you will see notices that we will say Leng Dam is being maintained. We are doing the maintenance. We will have the closing for this area for 3 or 4 days, because we want to ensure that the blue drops, the green drops is being implemented. So in our entity, we have partake into the road of ensuring that we are are compliant in all those areas that we want to ensure that our people that we are serving are getting clean water that is also maintainable and that is also being assessed, or the pipes and also the system that is used to run those waters are being maintained and are also being, taken care of by the entity. And one of the plans that we have as Amatola Water in this year, financial year, starting from July 2026 to June 2027, is one of the things that we want to achieve, the blue drop. We have taken all our investment to ensure that the blue drop and the green drop is being addressed. And coming to the last one of the non-revenue water. The non-revenue water, you will find out that the problem with that is because of there was also the problem of metering, and also, in some of the plants and also in some of the municipalities and also nationwide, there's been technology that has been invested in that. There are issues that are being now are going to be implemented as our water board now in ensuring that we are doing the smart meters this year as part of our procurement plans, and that we are going to ensure that we are saving a lot. We are coming from 44 million rands of non-revenue water, and now we are reducing because we are maintaining and we are also addressing the issues of pipeline. The turnaround times have now have improved drastically because we have been coming from not addressing the water challenges that have been pipe-based and all that for more than 14 days, but we are only now taking 24 hours and also to 48 hours depending on what needs to be done there. And that for me is a huge improvement that we have installed. Our turnaround strategy has been amazing, and as such, that is why now as the entity we are operating at the performance of the organization above 80%. It's because of those operational risks that we have identified that we need to implement, and also to ensure that we are progressing and improving our delivery.
Thank you very much, Cecilindo. Something very important there, and the fact that, and I think your board, your water board, and who's this? Dr. Mangis. Dr. Mangis. Okay. I think that's a best practice. We need to celebrate the good stuff that we're talking about. If really in your water board or in your area you're having major crisis that we're finding in many other water boards in the country, whether it's here in Johannesburg Water or in Durban, Umgeni Water, we're really struggling in terms of getting money from municipalities. And you're saying your side is not that much, and that's a best practice, and probably you need to assist others as well in terms of sharing that best practice. How have you done it in terms of that area? Because I know that it's very challenging. But very important thing as well that Nomkhita has said, and I would like to challenge. I know that he's working very hard, but we'll talk about it. I'd like to challenge my professor, Professor Zite, that probably in this platform, Prof, we might need to find a way of really pursuing this matter that Sis Nomkhita is talking about. That in one country, you find that another province or another area is flooding, and another part is suffering from water shortage. That how can that flooding water be collected and stored and used so that there's nothing that it's going to waste? Probably we need some researchers there, some scholars that can look at this and just put together something with some good recommendations to government, because really I like that. I'm not saying maybe the government have not looked at it, but obviously, as you know, we always say this platform, wherever possible, we need to assist. So, my professor, I know that I'll be calling you now to thank the speaker, but I just want to mention this to say, when Sis Nomkhita mentioned that, I said, that is the point. We need researchers who will assist the government and really find a way how can that water be used, what needs to be done, so that we are one of those countries. When you go to Europe, you go to US, that's so important that nothing goes to waste. Nothing goes to waste. So much water that is going there, but another part is got to dry or struggling with water. Sis Lindokuhle, I will ask you to give us your parting shots, and then Professor Zite will thank the speakers. But let me just go to the chat room before I ask you to do that, just to check some of the chats there. Dr. Gama, wow, that inspiring presentation. Sis Lindokuhle, you touched on the very critical elements of leadership, trust, courage, direction, and legacy. My sister there, Kainsile, thank you for an insightful talk, Lindokuhle. The water sector is highly dominated by male counterparts. How do you maintain your position as a female leader whilst leading with empathy, diligence, and excellence? Secondly, balancing experience and providing opportunities for your younger people to be mentored. How often do you revisit the succession plans and assess the skills transition? Regards, Kanyisile, Matthias. So if you can just respond to that, Sis Lindokuhle. Dr. Gester, congratulations on your appointment as CE and for this insight on leadership. You make Amatola Water Board proud. Dr. Gester, Amatola Water Board Chair. Wow, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as I was saying, that probably you guys, you must really assist other boards with best practice that are struggling to collect money from municipalities. Let us pursue that and see how we can assist them or how it could be done. Dr. Tandiwe, I would also like to share in congratulating Sis Lindokuhle on her appointment. Thanks there. Dr. Caster as well. Nolufela. Congratulations to Ms. Lindokuhle Nzoyi on her recent appointment with exceptional work ethic and dedication. I'm confident she will lead the entity with strength and bring much needed stability. Wa mandla noma kholwa. Congratulations and best wishes. Thanks for the leadership pointers, especially covering values. How do you, and there's another question there, how do you ensure sustainable impact in the world where there are no consequences for people who compromise the organization values that affect service delivery? My brother there, Mandla, very progressive and passionate presentation. Thank you, Mandla Mene. I will connect with you in the Solidify Women Boxing program. Oh, Mandla, we want you to tell us what's happening about the space of boxing there. But no, you are correct, my brother. To amplify women taking space agenda. If you can just assist with those two questions, Sis Lindokuhle, and then give us your parting shots, and then Professor Zide will come there after you, and then we close the session. Over to you, Sis.
Thank you very much, Prof, for those kind words, and I also want to appreciate the chat box messages that have come through. They're really heartwarming, and I feel that I have sisters in this platform, and I also have leaders that are holding hands with me in ensuring that I also, deliver and with their expectations. Just to start with the last question, I'm not sure about the first one, but I will try and answer it. I believe that if I can just respond in that one, that is coming from the maintenance of the female leadership while showing the empathy and also the excellence. I think as a person, I believe that leadership is not about choosing between empathy and strength, but it's about balancing both. When I say that, I mean that the empathy, enables us, or me, to understand the people, while I serve with excellence in ensuring that I deliver and come up with the good results. So in the position that I'm holding, I maintain my position and by remaining grounded, know, in my values. I also remind myself of my values and leading with integrity, and that is what is assisting me. The other one that is also assisting me a lot is the issue of transparency. Is one of the best interests of the organization that I thought is very important for people to understand, and of course for our community. Hence, you have seen a drastic change in us in how we are communicating our problems, how we are communicating our achievements, how we are in the social media. It's because of that, as a female, you know, it's very important that you play a mother's role when you are leading, but at the same time, you must also ensure that you are not weak, because once you show the weakness that you have, it takes advantage that others see, and also you can just fall into a trap easily. So it allows me to listen, you know, as a female leader. I also, you know, like build trust and inspire, you know, people by how I'm doing things in my space. However, you know, when you talk of the empathy, I do believe that compromising, you know, on accountability also, you know, is very costly. So I hold myself, you know, and others accountable and make difficult decisions when necessary. Sometimes it's not easy to be a leader because you will be judged by taking a decision and people will not have facts on that. But if you believe that you are standing in your principles that you are doing, by doing so, you are ultimately going to strive in leading with passion, and also leave people, you know, feeling valued, and also while ensuring that the organization also achieve excellence in what they are doing. So my leadership philosophy is only around very simple, by ensuring that there's a compassion. I'm very passionate about what I do. In everything that I do, I'm very passionate. So being compassionate, for me, it helps me, you know, to be around people, and also having to not to compromise, you know, my values also assist me in the process. So I believe that when doing so is going to assist in a journey of leadership. Professor, allow me to conclude. As you have said, I must have parting shot and share those with you. I would like to take this opportunity, and also as I am concluding with this session, I would like to say leadership is not defined, you know, by the position that we're holding. This position is just temporary, but it's defined about what legacy that we are leaving behind for the people that we are serving. People out there need water, and I am there to serve them. And people out there need business, and I'm also the implementing agent that is also very passionate about implementing any challenges that are coming behind water. So in a world that we are facing, you know, there's a very high demand and the greatest responsibility that we need to take as women. But we lead with a purpose, and also ensure that the values that we are bringing to the people are the values that are being that are going to be a commitment that we are making, and that are going to be sustainable, and that are going to create an impact of our lives. So whether we are leading in a nation or in a university or in a municipality, those people that are here, I can see that there are many people that have joined that are more than 50. And I want to say we need to ask ourselves that when our time in leadership comes to an end, will the community that we serve be better because we were there? That's the question that I want us to have. And let us choose to be leaders who build trust, who inspires, who brings hope to the people, who also create opportunities for others to grow. Because the true leadership that we have is a stewardship, as I have highlighted that in my presentation. And that is a service that will last forever if we are not building that trust, and also would take that energy to be seen outside there to create legacy. And that's what I want to say, Prof. And I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my sister. My professor, over to you.
Well, thank you so much, my professor. I think we really need to give a round of applause to Lindokuhle. And I've heard the clan name. One of the colleagues said, well done, Madlamini. And I also want to concur with all the applause and the praises that Lindokuhle has received. May I also join Sis Tandi and Sis Nomkita when they said, well done, Lindokuhle. And I also want to say to you, Lindokuhle, your presentation was very pragmatic indeed. And in the midst of all the challenges which our country is faced with, it is very humbling that we have leaders like your kind self who are prepared to provide such a thought-provoking presentation, a very inspiring and fascinating presentation, very motivational and transformative in its nature, but at the same time, very instructive and courageous, but you presented it with such humility that somebody cannot say that you are a CEO. And indeed, when you said that, what legacy do we leave behind? To me, demonstrated you are. He is not so obsessed. That's what I got from you. And your presentation has been very forthright. And I like the manner in which you synergized the leadership principles with governance principles. And by and large, you equally touched on corporate governance, with respect to effective leadership as well as ethical leadership. And I don't want to rehash your presentation, spoil already, but I just about comes before Sobukwe, but at the same time, they shared the same kind of experience in that they both matriculated for the common denominator.
It seems like you're struggling with your network there, my professor.
Freedom of
Prof. It seems like we are struggling with your network there. We are cutting. We can't hear you anymore. But we've heard you, most of the things that you have said. It's just as we are concluding that your network is failing you.
Yeah, but I can read by saying what Lindokuhle has discussed is the who said leadership is about sacrifice. Those principles are very, very poignant. And the last point that you raised, Lindokuhle, that do we leave behind? With those few words, thank you ever so much, Madlamini, for the kind of a person you are and the readiness to come in and make such an awful, wonderful, and awesome and wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. And thank you very much, Prof. Majola. Back to you. Thank you, colleagues. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my professor. Thanks very much. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close, can we do once again, please find an icon there where it says react, as we appreciate Sisilindo, and this all, just press some icon there as we give a round of applause as we are celebrating her and thanking her and appreciating her. I can see that others have not done it. Please do it as we're closing. We would like to thank Lindokuhle Nzoyi for her insightful, informative, and thought-provoking and very impactful super bumper masterclass that we've had today. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. The session is adjourned now until we meet again next week, Wednesday. So please do join us again Wednesday. We'll be having another powerful speaker, as we always do, with another very interesting topic that we'll be discussing. This session is adjourned now until next week. Thank you so much. May God bless you, and may God bless Africa. Nkosi sikelele Africa, our beautiful continent. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you very much. Bye. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you very much, Prof. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.